Wonderful co-host from Austin, Texas, Matt Teifke. Guys, this is yo, let's go. This is episode 4 of Next Level Radio Live now, and man, if you guys go back and listen to the first 3 episodes, you'll hear all the technical difficulties that we powered through, and we think we finally got to a place now where we're pretty comfortable. We like the setup we have, and just gonna keep getting after it and watch the show evolve. So a lot of cool things that we're going to talk about here today on the show. I'm just going to highlight a few, and then I'm going to hand it over to Matt to kind of break the ice on his end too. So we're going to get into the Teifke top 3 as we have in the past. Image stories. If you guys don't know what that is, stay put. We got some cool pictures to share with you. Ruckify, Kanye West, Alex Jones, Joe Rogan, a few apps that we've been using. We're going to talk business, how to bring in leads. We're going to talk traffic secrets by Russell Brunson, thinking internationally. I don't even know if we're going to have time to get through all this cool stuff today, guys. But, hey, we're here, and we're going to be live until 3 p.m. Central Time. That's Austin time. And this song playing right now is Know Yourself by Jay Robinson. It's sick. So go check it out. Great question. We are live, I gotta say. Guys, if you ever heard of an app called Restream, that's what we're using. We're using Restream. You know what? I actually, because I have Matt, because of our setup, I can't see it right now, but I know we're on Twitch, we're on Mixcloud, we're on YouTube, we're on Facebook Live, which is cool. We're on I think you can watch us on Restream, and Twitter, Periscope. There might be one other one that I'm forgetting, but that's where we're at right now. And just got to say hello, guys. Thank you for joining us. Oh, yeah. Good question. So, yeah, Facebook, if you go to you know what, because we're on Restream, I've noticed there's maybe like a 3 to 5 minute delay from us right now to it actually going through. So it might not actually be showing up on Facebook yet. But I'm going to take a look here and see if it is. Oh, yeah, there we go. I see us. All right, cool. So I'm going to send this to you as a message on FB. We got at least two people watching us on Facebook right now. There we go. Yeah, I'm sure if you just hit that reshare button, it'll circulate it. All right, so it should be hitting your Facebook inbox now. I'm going to go ahead and reshare it on my end too, just to boost it a little bit. And that's actually a little hack for you guys out there. I don't know if you knew this, but sometimes you post a video or just post anything on your timeline. That's one step, and I don't know how the Facebook algorithm works, but if you reshare it after you post it, it helps. So there you guys go. But yeah, kicking things off here with big wins. I'm gonna go back so I can see your face. I had my document pulled up. But yeah, Matt, big win since we last came together. It was only a week ago, so I'm sure within a week, both you and I, we like to do a lot of things. So tell me what's going on in the world of Teifke. Oh, wow. Mm. Yeah, go ahead. I was gonna say I'm still getting ready for that. I know you might have been hoping that I would have it done by this week. I do have a video though that I want to show you that I did over the summer where I ran around a baseball diamond in less than a minute, and that was like probably close to 100 meters. I don't know if I can. We'll see if we can even view this here. Let me see. Oh, where are you at? It's kind of coming through. Oh, you see the white claw there. All right, here we go. I think I got it.
Got it, baby.
What's that? Yep, yep. All right, here we go. And boom. All right, Andy's off. I don't know if you can even see me on there, but let me fast. I'll fast forward here to the end. Yeah. Okay. So here we go. I'm coming through here at the end. Where is it? Where am I? I'm coming. Boom. There you go. So we timed it, and it was around like 47 or 48 seconds. So I don't think the whole diamond is 400 meters, but yeah, yeah. And then actually, you know what, guys? Tomorrow's Halloween, so I've got like some candy here, Matt. I don't know if you got any snacks to join. To Oh wow, that sounds good to me. Well, I'm ready to make a jump to Austin when I can. So, hmm, right. Well, I'm going to tie this one in here. It's kind of a big win for probably for both of us, but for me, we both love networking and connecting people. And when I saw you on Lou Diamond's radio show, Thrive Loud, and listened to your interview, for me that's a win because I just always like to see things like that transpire and take place. So, guys, go ahead and just do a web search on this one. If you go to Google or whatever, type in Thrive Loud Matt Teifke and go listen to his interview there. It was really cool because it reminded me of that time when I sent you an interview and you accidentally listened to my life story. Um, so I got to learn some more about Matt that I didn't already know, and one thing that, well, I'll do another big win and then I'll tie back into this because it was just cracking me up on the interview. Another big win. You know what? Today I just here in St. John's was over at the community center meeting with some folks for volunteer work, and I found out that there's a need for someone to basically come in and do basketball with the kids. And as a former coach and someone who really hasn't been around I was telling you, like I haven't been around the game for a while, and I'm getting to a point now where I actually really do miss it. So hopefully in a couple of weeks here, I'll be doing some volunteer work with the kids and hooping it up and making the 10-year-olds go crazy when you dunk it and that type of thing. So um, oh yeah. No, I remember. I mean, even for myself as a little kid, my dad played basketball too, and I guess that's kind of what got me going in that direction. And I'll never forget, age 5, 6, 7. I just thought that my dad might as well have been Michael Jordan. Like I was just like, oh, he's so good. Like I could never steal the ball from him or like anything. So, and then, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That's hilarious. I think I feel like I've seen that video before. Maybe we can actually. That's one thing we can try and do. I might be able to like pull up that video here and, and share it on the feed. Um, Let me see if the other thing too. Everyone tuned in now. I'm a little bit nervous. So we've done music in the past, and we found out from a technical standpoint, it's a lot easier to not be going back and forth with music. Um, but I do kind of like to have it going in the background. The only thing is, if you're watching us on Facebook, Facebook is like the police of posting anything nowadays, especially music. So if they hear like us playing something that's not ours for too long, they might mute us, and I don't want you guys to get muted on FB. So I'll see if I can find like some instrumental jams just to play softly here in the background. Um, but Matt, this is what I want to hear your take on this. And guys, I know I actually laughed out loud when I heard this, but it's true from what I can see. So when Matt was on Lou Diamond's show, he was talking to him. So Matt has another podcast that he does with his business partner, Alex Coffin, right? Yep. Shout out to Alex. And the name of their podcast is called The Real Estate Podcast. Now, I listened to another show called Real Estate Guys Radio Show. They've been doing it since 1998. There's thousands of different real estate podcasts. And when I saw that they had the title, The Real Estate Podcast, and they're like 9 or 10 episodes deep, I'm like, okay, that's cool because maybe, 5 years from now, if they stay consistent with it, they will be the Real Estate Podcast. But then on your interview with Lou, you were like, yeah, we talked to our marketing guy and we found out that no one actually even had the name yet, the Real Estate Podcast. And I was like, what? He's right though. I looked. There's maybe one other show where like the guy posted like 5 episodes 3 years ago. Like there's no show called the Real Estate Podcast besides you guys. So like, boom. That's amazing. Great find. Okay. Yeah. And I'm multitasking here as I try and find like some generic instrumentals to get going. But let me just pause and go back to that though. So the Real Estate Podcast, for everyone listening out there, um, I could just say from a consistency standpoint, if they keep producing episodes for the next, maybe even just like I said, 2, 3, 5 years max, that's just going to go so far. When people type in real estate podcast, you guys are going to come up first. And the coolest thing is, it's still kind of like a generic title, so you can take it. Like, say you get tired of talking about residential, you get tired of talking about multifamily or different aspects of the business, you can just flip the switch, and there's so much potential to just get creative with it. Yeah. And here we go. I just typed in on YouTube like royalty free music. I got the best non copyrighted music of 2020 for an hour. So we're gonna have a little bit of something going here. If it gets to be too much and you can't tell, like you're my ears. So let me know what's coming through too strong on the microphone or whatever. Um, can you hear it right now? Not too much or anything. Okay, cool. All right, you're coming through good too. Actually, can you say a couple things here? Let me check our levels. Give me a mic check. Where is? Actually, I hope. Let's check the comments right now and make sure that we can hear you, because I'm not seeing you on my levels, but I can hear you and you can hear me. So, actually, let's turn up the music here for a second, and then as we're doing that, we're gonna see to make sure that if you guys are watching on Facebook, for example, that you can hear Matt. Yeah, ask someone. They'll just do that. Ask someone you know if they can hear you. Anyways, as we continue on, I hope you guys can hear Matt. If not, hey, like I said, you're learning here with us. Um, well, actually, we just hit on it there. So, image stories. Oh, okay, there we go. Yeah, okay, all right, that's what we thought. That's interesting. So I'm talking to myself right now. A lot. I've been talking to myself live for 15 minutes. Okay. Um, well, either way, thank you for everyone who's listening to my voice. We got to figure out how to get Matt's voice coming through here. And this is weird because we actually haven't had this. This is a new. challenge that we thought we might have finally fixed. So why is he not coming through here? Let's try this. Well, I'm just gonna turn the music up and play around with some of these settings here. So hold on. Give me a mic check, mic check. Yeah, there we go. All right, we got it.
We got it?
We got it. People can hear you now.
Let's go. I'm back, baby.
Oh, man. So, yeah, thank you, everyone, for trying to figure out what's been going for listening to me for the last 15 minutes. We finally got Matt's mic on. Okay. Well, let's just highlight that real estate podcast thing one more time. What was your take on when you guys found out that no one had that name taken yet?
Well, it just was like, Andrew, you are the man. He's like, yeah. He's like, I found it and I claimed it. We got it. I was like, seriously?
He claimed it too.
I guess so. I don't know how it works. But he's like, yeah, it's hard.
Dang. All right. There we go. All right. Well, it's now time for another portion of the show we like to call Image Stories. And hang tight with us here today because this is going to I thought we had all of our technical difficulties ironed out, and I think we got this taken care of. But I'm going to upload an image here for you guys, and this is sent in by Matt before today's show. He's going to tell us a cool story behind what you're about to see. You know, I got to figure out a way to rotate these things too. They keep coming in coming in sideways. Let me see if I can rotate this first. Why is it coming in like that? Boom. Okay. Well, you know what? We're just gonna roll with the punches. So check out this funny looking picture of Matt.
This is a random story. Random.
There we go. All right, I gotta resize it. One day we'll figure out how to get it horizontal. Where all my people who stream on a daily basis out there, if you're tuned in, just remember to reach out to us after the show and give us some streaming tips.
We can't see the whole picture, but remind me. Oh, trust the journey. Oh yeah, that's where I love that.
You can see it. Yeah, trust the journey. Okay, so yeah, give us a little recap here. What's going on?
All right, here's the deal, man. So this guy on the left, Andrew, right? I never knew him. He posted on Facebook and he said, I'm walking from South Austin to Georgetown. It's like, I don't remember, like 35 miles or 26 miles, something like that. And he said, does anyone want to join? He just did this on Facebook, and I was like, I'll join. And so I met him out there at like 5 in the morning. He had the news crew. This guy was literally walking 115 or 100 and something miles to a prison that his mom was at to then go and forgive her for everything that happened. And she was in jail for murder. It was this massive story. And she tried to get him to cover up the murder. It was crazy, man.
Wow.
Anyways, I went on, and this guy and I walked. I walked one of the 3 legs, you know, the prison, and we walked like 20-something miles, and I puked. I got up. He didn't think I was going to make it. I made it all the way with him. It was one of the hardest things. Like, you know, walking that distance is different than like running 5 miles or 10 miles.
Yeah.
It was insane, dude. Like, I was super sore for like 3 days, but it was an awesome experience. And I just thought it was cool, man. I made a friend. Like, me and this guy are like super close now. We walked and talked for like 16 hours, you know?
Right.
And this was one of the pictures we took along the way. I mean, there was a lot of things that happened on that journey.
Oh, so yeah, I mean, walking, it was how many hours and how many miles?
It was, I can't remember. I feel like it was like 26.
26 miles?
Yeah.
Okay. But that was interesting that you said that you felt like you were going to throw up.
No, I did throw up. Like I got dehydrated, and I mean, it was crazy, dude. It was hot, Texas. We were walking on the highway. Like, we walked from Austin to Georgetown. I'll try and look it up, but it was pretty far.
Nice. Yeah, I find that interesting. I've never heard of. It makes sense when you tell the story, but you never really hear someone say, "Oh, no, I walked so much that I threw up," right? So
Oh, yeah.
that was intense.
I was dehydrated for sure.
Is that
I mean, dude,
the furthest
like,
you've ever? Well, yeah, probably. Was there anything
well,
comparable to that?
I've done 2 half Ironmans, which is, it's a lot more distance and everything. Where you biked 56 miles, you swam a mile, and you ran 13. But
What's the toughest out of those 3, by the way, for you? What do you think?
the toughest was, it's easy to say because it's the last, it's the run, but it's after you swim and bike.
How many miles after you swim and bike?
13. That's a half Ironman. A full Ironman.
Oh man.
Yeah. So
you're just dead after that.
That's on my bucket list, is to do a full Ironman. But a full, I've done 3 half Ironmans, and every time I do it, I'm like, why am I doing this? Like, this is torture. But then, you love it because you're accomplishing a goal.
Yeah. What's the feeling like when you're done? Obviously, immediately after you're done, you're like, thank God I'm done. Like, you probably feel like you just conquered everything. But like, are you just unable to move for like the next 3 days, or like what? What's that like?
Well, at least for me, I slept for like 16 hours.
Slept. Oh yeah, I mean, I feel like I would sleep for more than that.
Dude, I did it with my buddy, one of my best friends, and he's now a Navy SEAL. Okay. And this was in high school, and he did it in a full flannel, like just to do it. He did it in a flannel.
Yeah. I've heard stories. I know. Oh, and this is a good segue here because we're talking about Joe Rogan podcast. Oh, that's kind of cool. You're in Austin. We're doing the show. Kind of maybe some foresight. I know he's had I always forget how to pronounce his last name, but like the Dan Bilzerian guy who's like the next Hugh Hefner or whatever. And anyways, I've heard that. I remember him telling stories on Joe's podcast where he just do like weird things, like do an Iron Man in a flannel, like just to do it type of stuff. But yeah, so I haven't. This one's on my to listen to list. I was actually surprised because my friend sent me. For anyone who hasn't listened to Joe Rogan's podcast, it's very just. I don't even know the words to describe it. It's just one of those shows where it's like you got to listen to it to see what you think for yourself. And I don't know. I know for me, I'm always when they got guys like when he brings on Kanye, and like my buddy sent me the Alex Jones one, which I'm like a fifth of the way into right now. I love listening to those interviews in particular. So
the Alex Jones one is insane, man.
Which one?
The Alex Jones one. He's drinking. And
did you listen to the whole thing?
Yeah, I listened to that one. I like the Kanye one a lot.
Okay.
And but then he's got some ones with like history. Those guys like Graham Hancock and those guys that talk about like ancient history and like Neil deGrasse Tyson, stuff like that. It's pretty. I mean, scientists and, it's awesome. It's all over the place. I don't really get into the fighting ones or the comedian ones that much. I like the ones that you're like really learning. He had Elon, obviously.
Yep. That was a famous one. So, I mean, tell me about, I could tell you what I'm already picking up on from the Alex Jones one, which that dude cracks me up. And honestly, I do think he does have a lot of valid things to say that get a little bit played down. But like the Kanye one, I'm sure that was like, I'm a big, I'm a Kanye, I wouldn't say fan, but like, I just like that he's the type of person that just does whatever he wants regardless of what's expected of him. I think that's how most of us should live our lives.
I respect that so much about him. Mm-hmm. I respect that. And I've come full circle. Like when I was in high school, I mean, Kanye was the king. Like the stuff, the music he was putting out just like hit home with me. Mm. And then I fell off the wagon. I felt like things changed. And like he went through this totally different Kanye. And now I've come full circle. But the biggest thing, you're right, that I respect about him is I feel like he thinks for himself, regardless of if he's right or wrong. At least he has an opinion, Mm-hmm. And I don't always agree with him. Like nobody should agree with everyone always,
right.
But I look up to Kanye in a lot of ways.
Definitely. He just he's got a little bit of like a Dennis Rodman in him, just kind of just like Tyler the Creator, but those three individuals right there who are like entertainment personalities. And I'll say this: like they're three black guys: Dennis Rodman, Tyler the Creator, and Kanye. And I just think, as being black as well, like they just do whatever they want based on their mind. And I think anyone out there, regardless of your skin tone, like that's how you got to think, guys. I'm not saying you have to be Kanye, but like just think outside of what you look like. You go much further in life. So, there we go.
I like that.
All right. See, here we go. This is the type of stuff we can talk about. You don't always get this on the Dream Chasers episodes. I'm not sure why, but it's just a different flow.
Well, dude, you know what it is? What I was thinking about, man, is, you were talking about the Thrive with Lou Diamond, and it was like after we stopped recording, we had this amazing conversation, and I'm like, that should have been on the podcast.
Yeah, that's true. You have some actually, and I know some individuals. I'll give a shout out to my buddy Dan Hanford, who's a multifamily operator out of South Carolina. I just remember I was either on, actually, I think I was on Dan's show. Either way, all I know is he recorded the whole thing. And after we were done interviewing, I was like, hey, the recording's still going. He's like, oh, no, I like to use this for like bonus footage and stuff. I'm like, oh, cool. Because I'm sure we said some cool things before or after the interview that I wasn't paying attention to. So, yeah.
That to me, man, maybe that's where we take this. It's just live and loose, but that's Rogan. That's where I feel like Rogan's so different in that I haven't felt anywhere else. Mm-hmm. It's just natural. Every podcast is so like, you're asking me the questions. I just went on Derek Reiner, and he was asking me all these questions, and I have fun. I'm like, but I want to get to know you.
Yeah.
So now we're going to go do a reverse podcast.
Yeah, that's true.
But, the magic's, somewhere in between.
The live experience. Well, I'm wondering, because I keep referencing Joe's show, and I'm sure there's a certain level of preparation that they do put into it. And so as a podcast producer myself, I'm like, what did they plan out about this? What did they talk about in advance? Because you're right. When you, as a consumer, you just press play, you're like, wow, they're just doing this on the spot, like flawlessly. And I'm sure there's more to it. But again, this is like, we're moving that direction here now.
Yes, sir. And like Joe says, man, you go look at his early stuff. It was rough. And he's actually become an expert. Like he's probably, I would say he's at the top of his craft of like being able to interview, yet have your own opinion and have a conversation. And the Alex Jones one nailed it for me because, he was kind of getting a little frustrated. Joe was, you could tell, because Alex would go on these crazy rants. It's like, Alex, slow down, man. Like,
Joe, listen, Joe, listen.
Yeah.
NASA.
Yeah. You got that down, man.
That's good.
Yeah. But anyways, he's evolved over time to get really good at what he's doing.
Mm-hmm. Here we go. We got a new guest here on the show. Well, not new, but Luca's saying hi.
Luca.
I ate all the chocolate, Luca. Say hi to the camera. Come on. Turn your head this way. There we go. Hey, guys.
Hey. Luca. Yeah, I love that name. But, Kanye was talking about George Lucas, Luke Skywalker. Did you hear that?
No. Tell me a couple more highlights, and then we'll get some of the other topics. Yeah.
Kanye's just passionate, man, and he's like he just thinks outside the box. But he was talking about George Lucas. He was like, think about it. George Lucas, the main character is Luke Skywalker. He's the main character. It's him. And I was like, oh, interesting. But I don't know. Kanye's, I love what he's doing, man. I think it's important.
Yeah. I'm gonna check it out now. Here we go, getting into my next piece of the.
We didn't finish your two big wins of the week.
Really? Did we not do the other one? Oh no, we did. Because I was talking about you going on Thrive Loud that was cool for me to see, and then coaching the basketball.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. But I don't think I did an image story.
Oh, that's right, dude. That's cool.
Yeah, that's what it was. So, and eventually we'll make sure we have enough time to get it pulled up here on the screen, but I'm just going to put it up here. So this is my buddy Josh and I, who he actually just had his birthday last Saturday, but this is us in Belize.
Nice.
right outside of University of Belize, which is close to my. I know it's really blurry, guys, but I lived. Shout out to anyone from Belize if you're listening right now. This is us right by UB. Um, we've known each other since we were 3 or 4, so
Wow.
it was
Nice.
cool to see. You know, and we so I was living in Belize for my own journey, and he was visiting there for a study abroad program when he was in college. So it wasn't planned that we were going to both be there at the same time, but like there it is. And then there was another. I think I once upon a time I did like a collage with this picture and a picture of him and I when we were like again 3 or 4 years old, and it's just cool to travel the world with your buddies and get different experiences. And shout out to Josh and Courtney, his wife Courtney. She's from Belize, so he must have
Nice.
he had a good time when he was there.
Nice.
they
Nice.
they live in Ohio now, which is my homeland. So happy birthday. Um, what else we got here, Matt? Oh, all right. I'm gonna flip it over to you now. You sent this to me.
Oh, what do you got?
He emailed this to me either yesterday or the day before, and I was like, wow, I had never seen that before, but it's a brilliant concept. We actually don't have it in St. John's yet, so that's probably why I haven't heard of it. I was looking. Ruckify.
Yeah.
Tell our listeners, everyone tuned in right now, what the heck is Ruckify?
Dude, I'm fascinated by it. And it's a long, for me, it's been interesting because I was always following the cannabis space. And this massive CEO that started the biggest one, they're like a $7 billion company now, is now involved in this thing called Ruckify. He started talking about it. So I started looking into it. And basically, it's, to put it in simple terms, it's the Airbnb of things. Like you can rent anything out. Like you can rent your own stuff, and then you can rent stuff from other people. And so I started doing this because I'm talking to the guys that are like high up with this company, and I'm like, yeah, if there's a way to like work into a bigger role, they're talking about going public, and I love the idea. I'm trying to figure out how many people also love this idea. But basically, man, like at my house, I've got lawnmower, a guitar, I've got weights, I've got a stroller, whatever. I could put it on Ruckify, and for my weights, I could do like $15 a month. And people will come and rent these things out, and you can make money. And then if you want to rent other things out, you can as well. But I think there's something there. I'm trying to explore this. But you could rent like a tractor, a bulldozer, an RV. Like you can list anything, and then if you have reasonable prices, you can go make money on it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever heard of this concept, but like, and I don't know how you would rent. Like if you were to go, like say me and my wife were going to go to Colorado, and for the winter, like we could go rent a snowboard, we could rent whatever, you could rent a paddleboard in Austin, but I just don't know how much demand there is for this.
Right. But from what I saw, it looks like there was no activity here where I live, but I saw in Cleveland, like, which isn't a major city, like there's activity. People are using Ruckify in Cleveland. So definitely where you're at in Austin, I'm sure there's a need and demand for it, and it would only grow from there. The only thing that I also noticed was, I was like, all right, well, one of the main things that people are always looking to rent is like vehicles. So I looked up like how much it is to rent a vehicle, and I didn't see, I think there's probably some type of, if you can imagine someone who doesn't have a driver's license, like renting someone's vehicle on Ruckify, they probably have some issues with that. But like you said, like
I don't think you can do that. I'm not sure though.
Yeah, but like the gym equipment, I'm just trying to think. Lawnmower, you said snowboard. I think there's definitely a place for the app Ruckify, guys. It's Ruckify. Go ahead, check it out. And I think if you just go check out the website, then you'll kind of be like, oh, like this makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. What is that? I mean, what is the relationship you have with is it with the co-founder or?
Well, I don't have a relationship with him. I just I've always loved his interviews and everything because he's a real true visionary.
Okay.
And so he just started talking about this. So I started looking into it. And then I've kind of worked my way up the ladder a little bit to potentially be the guy that could kind of lead the show for them in the Austin, Central Texas area. And so he's like, we want to have a breakfast. We'll invite people. We'll invite 2 or 3 people. And the next week we'll invite 6 or 7. And so like I'm, just trying to get people to hear about it and know about it and see if it's valuable. And it doesn't cost any money. Like you create an account and you list what you want to rent out. And I think Ruckify just takes a small portion of that, and then people come pick it up. And so it's just like a way to make side money. What I'm trying to do is go figure out like what's in high demand and maybe go buy those items to rent it out and make, ideally, a couple thousand a month if I could. And they say this company, but like what I love more than that is like, they're like, we're going public. Bruce Linton, the guy who I followed, is involved with it. And it could be a massive company. And, there could be a way to, if I'm just going to add value for the, like, he told me, he's like, you're on the CEO's radar. Like he knows who you are. He's looking at, because they're helping me build my channel and make it really clean and what's in demand to be like the example. So yeah, interesting.
Good point there too, guys. I don't know if we kind of gave it a plug earlier. Check out Matt's YouTube channel. I think it's just, is it Teifke Real Estate? What's the best way to go find it?
Yeah, that's it. Teifke Real Estate.
Teifke. They're doing a great job building up that channel, consistent with the content, which is like so key. I'm learning that more and more. And Matt, you've probably already been on that train for a while, but if you can publish daily, it's something you really got to strive for. I just heard on Russell Brunson's podcast the other day, he was using a 365-day case study of somebody who published some type of content every day for 365 days. And, his slogan is, if you can do that for a year straight, you'll be financially free by the end of the year. And there's no like,
that's a cool theory.
It's a great, right? Like the other theory that he said that I love that I'm actually, we'll probably talk about this later in the show is, if you can produce one webinar every week for 52 weeks, you'll be financially free by the end of the year. And, that's a bold statement. And what exactly does that look like? It's hard to like make it definitive, but basically what he's saying is someone who's done all of this over and over and over and over again, like something very beneficial will come into your life if you're consistent and you can do that.
Well, so, it forces you to do things,
Right.
I mean, we're doing 4 calls. We still do those calls every week.
That's a perfect example. Just clarify real quick for anyone that doesn't know what you're talking about, because that is a great example.
Yeah, we have 4 calls a week at 10:30, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
And who's we? You gotta say.
Huh?
Who's we?
Oh, sorry.
yeah.
Teifke Real Estate. Me and Alex, and dude. Every day is something different. Like today was just 7 guys and we were all like brainstorming because we didn't have 20. Then we'll have sometimes 25 people come on, and then I'm like, all right, somebody go, like shoot something out, and we're just figuring it out as we go. But I was just agreeing with your quote because it forces you to figure things out. Like if you're gonna do something for 52 weeks, you're not just gonna sit there with your mind shut off. You're gonna think and take action and accomplish something. And it's just going to snowball.
Yeah, guys, I'm saying it now, and I think Matt has a more kind and just like generous, humble soul than the person I'm going to compare him to here. But I see a lot of similarities between him and Grant Cardone. If you look at like this guy's just tenacious, like wake up every day, get after it, can only sleep for 4 hours type of guy. Actually, you said you slept for 16 hours at one time. For me, I sometimes I do. I'm sure every now and then you wish you could like shut the motor off or whatever, Matt. But I do envy guys like you sometimes where it's like get up, go full send, like create, grow. I guess, yeah.
Different seasons. I think there's different seasons, and because like nobody can go forever, and like you can have like sprints and then take off and sprints and kind of that 4-hour work week type mindset. But for me, it's just a lifestyle. Like I'm having so much fun right now, but I think
that's the key too. You can tell guys, go to his YouTube channel. You can tell Matt's like he's having fun while he's doing all this.
You got to, man. Hey, that was, I don't know if we want to jump into this, but I had the Teifke top 3.
Oh yeah, thank you for bringing us back.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that you said that because like that was one of my points. Was like I just wrote down right here the feels, like because I was listening to music today and I was just feeling good, man. And like I feel that way when I cook because I can be creative and I enjoy it and I can create something. And you're not always going to be able to have that good feel all the time. That's just life. Never. But try to have something like that you focus on a little bit every day, whether that be cooking or music. Feel good. So there's something that we all, I think, lights us up from the inside. It's like, man, this is just a magical feeling right now. And if you can turn that into what you do on a daily basis with work, like that's like the real win. Because life's short, and so like that's the best way to enjoy it. So that was like a concept I had. And then the other one, man, was this got me going from Kanye, was like, think about bigger problems, because we all get bogged down and we get our own anxiety and stress. But like when you start trying to think about big problems, it kind of minimizes the small ones, and it humbles you a little bit. And you realize, like, man, there's so much out there. Like even just thinking about them, I feel is very valuable.
What's an example of like focusing or thinking about a bigger problem compared to a small one?
I mean, something that I struggle with a lot would be the idea of clean drinking water. Like I went to Africa 7-8 years ago, and we saw people that did not have clean drinking water. And so it's like, when you think about that kind of problem, it really kind of minimizes like what else you're complaining about in a lot of ways. Even like political stuff. It's like, yeah, we're going to argue about who's the president and all this stuff. It's like, what about the kids that don't have clean drinking water? What I'm trying to like research some things like big problems, and I'm learning more and more about the sex trade. Like,
yeah,
I don't even understand this because I don't see it, at any level. And it's like, what? There's all these people that are sex slaves and like
right.
those kind of things,
Yeah, that was a big one for me too, that I learned recently, that just had no idea the capacity at which it's taking place. That's one thing I know. I always like to plug him here on the show, but I know one of Russell Brunson's main charities and things that he's behind is putting as much of an end to it as you can. I know, similar to these other things like clean drinking water, all of this seems like, can we actually end it? I don't know, but we can move forward in the right direction. And I think that's a great point there. Like, anyone tuned in here, if you haven't really thought big, like forget about who's going to be in office next week. Like, let's focus on just even these two topics: clean drinking water for the world and putting an end to sex slavery. It's
important. Like, I think it's just all around win. That's just the concept, is like, you're putting good thoughts out there to maybe somehow at least influence something somehow. I mean, the world's crazy. Like, thinking about things can make change, right? But also you're doing it for yourself, and like, what? Oh man, I'm worried about like being late or whatever, or something. There's these smaller issues. It's like, there's bigger things out there in the world.
Yeah. A cool thing here too, and actually you got little ones at home, so you can probably put this to practice, I'd say sooner than I can. You know how we always use the phrase, what do you want to be when you grow up? We need to shift that and start creating an epidemic using the phrase, who do you want to serve when you grow up? Because when you can identify who it is that you want to serve, that's really when everything changes. I know, personally speaking, within this past 6-7 months, I've had a shift in that mindset for sure. I got it from Russell was talking about how, he's like, okay, yeah, so I serve entrepreneurs, but like nothing, it didn't make sense to me until I realized, like, I serve my funnel hackers, like the people that follow my content, the people that are entrepreneurs and believe in what we're talking about here. Like, that's really who I serve. And I know for me, with the brand here, the IX brand, and next level this and next level that, like, anyone who I refer to as a next leveler, normally they're an entrepreneur, maybe they're in real estate, whatever, but like, that's the specific person that I serve. And so my challenge to you, Matt, and anyone listening right now, is take a step back and refine and figure out that, in your world, who is it that you serve? Because once you can get laser focused on who you serve, again, things they all just start clicking and falling into place. So cool thoughts.
Well, and to take it a little deeper, I believe you mentioned, like, you believe in God, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's it. That's who we serve, right? And like, we all might be serving the same person, but not realizing it and thinking in different ways, and we fall off track and all that. And that's another thing about Kanye, is like, he is so passionate about it. Kanye is like, I'm following God, and people think he's crazy, but I respect it, and that's really who you serve because what you said, you believe in God, and I do too, and I think like I don't know, that's getting deep, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, and you're right. We only got about 7 more minutes here before you got to go. Are you going to pick up the kids today?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes,
cool. So yeah, guys, we got about 7 more minutes here, but I'm sure we can get into our faith philosophies here on another episode. And I just want to give a boost of confidence to anyone out there. I mean, God is good, and whether you refer to Him as as the universe or the cosmos, I mean, the main thing is having faith that there's something greater than us, and that is, the intuition and the source that you should look to for guidance when you don't know what to do. That's the main thing I can say is, been so many times in my life,
I'm
right,
with you, dude.
where
And
your
like,
back's against the wall and it's just like, who else is gonna save you?
yeah, right. And it's crazy. I mean, there's a lot to it, right? But like, I think it's all about just love, man. Like if I were to simplify it, like the way I look at it is God is love. And if you could just like literally just think like that and live that way, like you get a lot out of it.
Absolutely. I love that. One thing that just came to mind for me that I wanted to bring up, I heard again on your Lou Diamond interview. Again, guys, Thrive. Look up Thrive Loud. I think I said this. I said this earlier in the show when you couldn't hear Matt talking. But look up Thrive Loud, Matt Teifke, and check out his interview. You talked about just how you're a big time risk taker, and that's another thing where like the truly successful entrepreneurs, they're not afraid. They're not your average risk taker. They're normally a few levels beyond what most people are comfortable with. So, but you talked about how you kind of took a positive addiction to risk taking and applied it to, in a positive way, because you said you had some issues with betting in sports, and now you've just shifted that energy into growing your business, which I think is very clear. So, like, I don't know, just elaborate on that a little bit.
Man, and I have some crazy gambling stories. I mean, it was bad. Like my wife was like gonna leave me, like you can't do that anymore. And I was gambling on all kinds of things. I lost like everything I had twice. And I also would have huge wins, like massive wins. And I had to be going big. I couldn't and I also was like convinced, like I would research things, and you think you're good at it, and it's just crazy. But there was something about the risk. I like to take the risk because I wanted to go big. And like if I started on like flipping a coin or roulette or whatever, and I started with like $5, and I would turn it into like there was never enough. Like it just would always keep doubling down until you just lose it, And so you're right. I've tried to channel that towards real estate. I mean, dude, you'll like this. I'll just be real. Like one time I was betting on a basketball game, and I started with like $200, right? And I was doing live betting, like you can bet live.
Right.
Like, this team, whoever it was, like it was like, I think it was North Carolina. They just like kept dominating, right? And so like it was like -12, -14, -16. It just the spread kept going up. And I just kept taking it, and I turned it into like $30,000 in like an hour. I swear to God.
Wow, 200 to 30, yeah.
I swear to God. And then I took all of it. I took all that money and I bet it on Alabama to beat Auburn, and Auburn upset Alabama, and I lost. Like it was like started with like nothing, and I didn't think of it as like, that's a freaking salary for a year. Like I didn't think. I was like swept away in this. They call it the invisible disease, man. It's like it's this very intense. Like there's certain movies that I've watched that I'm like, that's it. Like that's what I had. And The Gambler with Mark Wahlberg. I don't know if you've ever seen that, but like,
I don't know.
Like he just had to. It was like almost like I had to just keep going, which I knew I would lose.
Wow.
And it just existed over years, like 6 years. I couldn't not be betting on a game if I was going to watch it. Like I couldn't just – it was like so boring to watch with no money.
Right. Well, I think that says a lot too. As you mentioned that game, you're like you were like, I think it was Carolina. Like that shows you're just like captivated by the essence of the money making portion that you didn't even care or even remember, like, who's playing.
Dude, here's one other quick one.
And then also, I gotta say, like, tell the story, and then also, like, maybe some advice for anyone we have listening who might like feel stuck in a position like where you were, like how to get out of that.
That's a good man. Okay, I'll try and think about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
This was a 5-game parlay, and I won all. I put $500, and I won like 27,000. And it was literally, I remember I was in Ohio at my grandma's house. It was the last game to win it. It was the Seahawks, and they kicked like a 55-yard field goal, and it literally hit the. I'm not kidding. It hit the bottom of the goalpost and bounced in, which made me win. What? I can't believe this. Like,
you're just going nuts.
Yeah. So I've had some crazy, but ultimately, I mean, I've lost a lot, So those are like the cool, funny wins. But man, I don't know exactly what it was other than like I just couldn't do it anymore. Like I didn't like the feeling. I mean, I was betting on like tennis in Korea at 2 a.m. I didn't even know who was playing. I was just looking at the odds. And I think it was maybe greed. So maybe that's one thing. Like, don't just go try to just take over the world with money. That's what I was thinking, I guess. Like, I was like, I want to be a billionaire, and like, I'm good at this. And I'm going to make 20,000 and turn it into 300,000, and then 6 to 9 to 1.2 to 2, whatever.
Yeah.
But just if I guess the only thing is like, if you really know you have a problem, like, that it's destructive, and like it's up to you. And if you can rely on God to get you out of that, I think, like you said, that's having your back against the wall. That's gonna be the obvious answer to me. You have to make that decision yourself to get out of it. Nobody else can do it for you. And like, otherwise you're gonna die. Like you make the choice. And I think that's it. Like that's the reality. You have to realize where you're at and make the decision and make the choice of what you know is best. Absolutely. And I knew I couldn't do it anymore. Like I knew what I'd been through it a million times of like thinking I know who's going to win this game. I know it. I've studied it. Here's all the reasons. And then like anything can happen. Like anything can happen in sports, no matter what.
That's right. Man, you just reminded me of a mutual friend of ours who you introduced me to, Austin Linney. And man, talk about someone who's really overcome some serious like addictions and challenges in his life. Where he's at now is really cool to see, guys. I think episode 116, or actually, it's a recent episode of Dream Chasers. Look him up, Austin Linney. Thanks to you, Matt. I'm actually going live with him next week and a couple other people on Facebook for some. It just sounds really cool. I don't know what it is, so thank you.
Yeah.
But no, Austin talks about what you just said, like at the end of the day, it comes down to you. Like only you can look yourself in the mirror and just say like, yo, what's up? Like it has to come down to you and making that change. And then once you do make that change, find your healthy addictions, identify your healthy addictions, because there are plenty of them out there. And I know one for me and one for you is this right here is getting on here, creating content, giving our best shot at adding value to whoever's listening. And that really that's the main thing there, is the adding value. I'll never forget, guys, I first met Matt, his follow-up questions over and over. How can I help? Like, how can I be of value? Who else? Every time I spoke with him, like the first 8 times we spoke was like, how can I help you? I'm like, dude, I love this guy. So
I'm glad you said that, because that's actually the better. The God was the best answer, but the other thing is for me was I looked at it as a strength. And then I channeled it. I was like, I'm one of the riskiest people you've ever met, straight up. And so, like, how can I use that to be a good thing? Well, how about I use it on something that I know a lot about? Like, I've made some mistakes, but I've always done very, very well with real estate because I've studied it and I've put in the work and I know it and I've done it. And so, like, let me go be crazy risky on real estate.
And you could say that too, but you're also playing it with the mindset knowing that you're not going to get rich in one day.
No.
The big shift.
That's the thing is it's not a 50-50. Like, there's not a flip a coin. I'm investing this money. I'm either going to lose it or double it. Like, I'm just investing in property that I know is a good property, that I know has good rents, that I'm buying below value, that I have a good team, all those kind of things.
Right. Right, exactly. There you go, guys. It's time are George and Louis both at school right now?
Yeah. Second.
Cool. Well, yeah, Matt's got to go pick up the kids. There's actually a bunch of cool things we didn't even get into here today, guys. But I'm sure we'll rehash them next week. On Next Level Radio Live, we go live now, and now that we kind of got our whole setup, I think we finally got it.
Hey, we want to I think, guys, we're gonna do like maybe a little bit more music. Keep the vibe going, and then if we get like more comments and stuff, like if we could see comments, that'd be cool too.
Yeah, that actually would be important.
And we'll feedback. We're just trying to have fun, trying to put out value, and we're just learning as we go. I think it's gonna constantly be getting better.
Exactly. Absolutely. Yeah. Just keep showing up, keep experimenting, and watch it evolve. And then, as you mentioned, I haven't checked any of Joe Rogan's like first 10 episodes, for example, but I'm sure it's nothing like where he's at now.
I mean, they're just literally they're like hanging out on it's. He talks about it. I mean, they're literally like hanging out on the couch. It's him and this other guy. It's so different.
Wow. Okay. So yeah, here we have hope here too. Thank you guys for being a part of the inception phase of Next Level Radio Live. I'm Adam Carswell. This is Matt Teifke, my co-host, and my fox. You said last episode you need people who are in your foxhole ready to fight. This guy's over here. He's in my foxhole.
Let's go foxhole, baby.
Any other closing words, Matt?
No, man. Just I enjoy this. That's it. Yeah. I want to keep it rolling.
Definitely. All right, guys. So, yeah, we'll be wherever you're tuned in, wherever you're watching right now, we'll be back here next Friday at 2 p.m. Central. That's Austin time. If you're listening from St. John's, Newfoundland, where I am, that's 4:30 because we're weird and we have an extra half hour. And, yeah, just remember that. You can listen to the replay. If you're joining us on the replay, actually, on Dream Chasers, be sure to share, rate, and subscribe to the show as well. Let us know what you liked. That's all out of me.
Let's go, baby. You guys all have a good weekend. We'll be back next Friday, and we will keep getting after it, keep learning. Let us know. Give us feedback. Let's go, man. Hope you have a great weekend.
Thanks, Matt. Thank you. All right, guys. Remember, in all you think, say,